streaming final drive. BMW, beer cans and deathly bravado.
And we have a stunning pre-Diwali expose and ground report from India's cracker capital in Sivakasi. Coming up at 5:30, it's a report that I don't want you to miss, viewer, because this involves us all here in India. I'm Shiv Aroor, this is 5 Live. Let's get straight to the headlines. After mega show of strength on the streets of Delhi, Deputy Chief Minister of the capital, Sisodia, appears before the CBI in the liquor gate scandal. India Today accesses CBI questionnaire. Sisodia grilled on links to accused businessmen and profit cuts.
अब ये मुझे जेल भेजने के लिए तैयारी कर रहे हैं, तो मैं जेल जाने के लिए भी तैयार हूं. मुझे डर नहीं है, बल्कि मुझे गर्व है इस बात पे कि देश के लिए कुछ.
D-Day in the Congress Party's presidential poll saga as voting concludes to decide if Mallikarjun Kharge or Shashi Tharoor will be the first non-Gandhi president in over 2 decades. Sonia Gandhi casts her vote in Delhi, tells India Today this is a historic moment that she's been waiting for.
Ma'am, are you happy?
I've been waiting for a long time for this case.
Ma'am, are you happy?
I've been waiting for a long time.
Days after Saurav Ganguly was ousted as BCCI president, Mamata Banerjee alleges bias towards Dada, while also requesting Prime Minister Modi to send the former Indian captain to the ICC as compensation. Ramdevs launches alcohol and drug-free campaign, claims Bollywood is drowned in drugs, says Shah Rukh Khan's son was jailed after being found with drugs and Salman Khan consumes drugs. Big allegations by Baba Ramdev.
शाहरुख खान का बच्चा ड्रग भी ले रहा था, सलमान ड्रग लेता है, आमिर का पता नहीं, न जाने कितने बड़े बड़े जिनको फिल्म स्टार बोलते हैं, और एक्ट्रेस का तो भगवान ही मालिक है, चारों तरफ.
Ukraine claims kamikaze drones hit Kyiv today. It's the second attack on the capital city in a week. Widespread damage, at least 1 killed, says Ukraine. And first up, I'd like to update you on the big dominating headline of the day today. It's now 5 hours and counting since Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manisha Sisodia began being grilled by the CBI. That interrogation is still underway in the capital. India Today, remember, the only channel that has accessed the official line of questioning for Manisha Sisodia in the liquor gate scandal. Sources telling us that as far as questioning is concerned, investigators are not satisfied with the answers that Manisha Sisodia has provided them on most aspects so far. Manisha Sisodia has also been confronted with documentary evidence during the questioning that is ongoing at this time. Sisodia was extensively questioned about his association with Vijay Nair, who is the communications head of the Aam Aadmi Party and also a well-known event management company entrepreneur. He was also asked if Vijay Nair was involved in the drafting of the excise policy along with 3 other alleged close associates of Sisodia. So 5 hours and counting, and Manisha Sisodia's questioning continues in the capital at this time. Let's go straight across to India Today's Munish Pandey, who's been tracking all of the developments and breaking them to us first here on India Today. Munish, where are things at? What are you hearing about the questioning that's happening? 5 hours and counting, detailed interrogation taking place. Is an arrest possible today or in the foreseeable future?
Well, Shiv, it has been almost 5.5 hours since the time Manisha Sisodia is being questioned by a team of Central Bureau of Investigation in the Delhi excise policy case. But what sources have told India Today that the investigators are not satisfied with the answers given by the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister as far as most of the aspects of Delhi excise policy is concerned. Now, broadly, the Central Bureau of Investigation has covered the area of corruption. Now, what the main allegation against Manisha Sisodia is that apart from tweaking the excise policy, he was also involved in corruption, or at least he was having knowledge of some corruption taking place in the excise policy. And that is why he was mostly asked about his association with Vijay Nair. And Shiv, Vijay Nair is a very important person as far as this entire probe in excise policy is concerned. What CBI is claiming that he is an instrumental player in the excise policy. He was the person who was involved in drafting the excise policy. He was the person who was holding meetings with the liquor businessman, and he was the person who was responsible for transporting the quid pro quo, that is the bribe, through Hawala channels. And that is why Vijay Nair has become very important. And who Vijay Nair is, according to CBI, and this is on record, according to CBI, Vijay Nair is a close associate of Manisha Sisodia. And when he was asked about his association with Vijay Nair, whether he was aware that whether he's taking money from the liquor vendors or not, what CBI sources are telling us that they are not satisfied with the answers given by Manisha Sisodia so far. Apart from Vijay Nair, he was also asked about the excise policy. What was the need to bring a new excise policy, and whether he was aware of the corruption angle or not. So all these questions are being asked. We have been given to understand is that this questioning will go for some more time, and then only CBI will take a final decision. If the questioning is not over today, he may be called again. But if the questioning is over today, then CBI will take a call whether to arrest him or not. Sure.
Okay, so it's a developing story. It's unfolding still at the CBI headquarters. Munish will continue to bring us the latest on that. We'll update you as soon as we hear more. And now on to our spotlight story today. In my view, one of the most hair-raising, terrifying stories. Everything about this story should keep us awake at night. 4 men, one of them an engineer, one of them a doctor, in a BMW car that one of them had just bought second-hand, live streaming on Facebook as they press down on the gas pedal and accelerate that car up to more than 230 kilometers per hour. Not on some foreign racing circuit, but in Uttar Pradesh's Purvanchal, very close to Sultanpur. That car crashed into a container truck. There was nothing left of the 4 people inside. And when you watch this report, you will agree with me that it's one of the most disturbing stories we've seen. Beer cans, a BMW, and fatal, fatal bravado.
स्पीड में 300 पहुंचा देगा ठिकाना पे, चारों मरेंगे। एक मिनट शांति।
A speeding BMW zooming down the Purvanchal Expressway at a breakneck speed of over 230 kilometers per hour. The 4 thrilled occupants with beer cans live streaming the drive on Facebook.
ठीक है, सीधा है, सीधा है, यहीं से मार, यहीं से मार, ठीक है, हाई स्पीड बनाइए, यहीं से मार, 200, 170, ये रिपोर्ट कीजिए।
Egging on the driver to hit 300 kilometers per hour mark on the speedometer and not to step off the accelerator.
स्पीड में 300 पहुंचा देगा ठिकाना पे, लंबा दिखेगा तभी खींचेगा। ठीक है, सीधा है, सीधा है, यहीं से मार, यहीं से मार, ठीक है, हाई स्पीड बनाइए, यहीं से मार।
One of them exclaims, "Charo marenge," predicting a deathly end for all of them due to overspeeding.
चारों मरेंगे। एक मिनट शांति।
Moments later, the BMW rammed into a truck, killing all the 4 on spot. Such was the force of the high-speed collision that body parts of the victims were strewn on the highway. The car was left a mangled pile of iron. Blood-soaked interiors of the car and the highway narrating the horrors of the final drive.
काफ़ी हाई स्पीड एक्सीडेंट लग रहा है और वो कोई इसमें सर्वाइवल नहीं है। अब उनके पोस्टमार्टम और उसकी कार्रवाई के लिए डॉक्टर को निर्देशित कर दिया गया है और उनकी परिजनों से संपर्क किया गया है ताकि उनको अन्य कोई असुविधा ना हो। इसके लिए संबंधित अधिकारियों को निर्देश दिया गया है कि उनके साथ कोऑर्डिनेट करके आगे कार्रवाई करें।
इसी की वजह डाइवर्जन किया गया है और इसी की वजह से ये सब हुआ है। एक्सीडेंट जो आज हुआ है इसी की वजह से हुआ। अरे इसको सही कर किया जाए और क्या, इसको जो है 15 दिन हो गया है, 4 लोग मर गए हैं, इसमें सर कट गया है, डाइवर्जन किया गया गाड़ी का।
The haunting bravado of the four as they zoomed into the split-second death. The blood-curdling final moments leave a chilling reminder. Speed thrills, but definitely kills.
सीधा है, सीधा है, यही से मार, यही से मार, यही से मार।
Bureau Report, India Today.
You could only hear their voices in that terrifying live stream video on Facebook. And just seconds later, at 233 kilometers per hour, all 4 men in that car died. But who were those men? The 4 men in that BMW that met with that fatal collision just seconds after live streaming themselves, zooming down the Purvanchal Expressway. Well, this is who they were. While the video shows them chasing a speed of 300 kilometers per hour, they were just normal Indian citizens. Their collision with a truck, allegedly on the wrong side of the expressway, is what led them to their deaths. In the video, one of them could be heard warning, all 4 of us will die, but it only led others to egg the driver on further. And now they leave behind 4 families. This is the identity of the 4 drivers, 4 people in that BMW. The man behind the wheel was a doctor, Anand Prakash, while the other occupants were also engineers and doctors by profession. The BMW in question was reduced to nothing at all, and all 4 occupants were killed immediately, on the spot. There was nothing left of the car and there was nothing left of them.
Alert today, alive tomorrow. This is what we see when we move to expressways. This is a message generated by UPIDA or various other expressway authorities. But that was a day, a horrific day, when 4 friends lost their lives by not taking this particular code seriously. We are at the Purvanchal Expressway and my driver will take up the speed. You'll see out here on the speedometer, we started from 20 and now the speed is raising, has crossed 50 and 60, 90 and now it's nearing 100. But I must mention that the speed will stop at 100. And that's what I want to tell you from Purvanchal Expressway. As per the rules of expressways, the car or vehicle should run not above 100 speed. But that was not the scene when those guys in the BMW car were driving. The speed reached 230 km per hour, which became one of the reasons behind their fatal death. It collided with head-on collision with that container truck coming from Lucknow. Though the friends were going from Bihar to Lucknow, on this particular expressway, what cameraman Sandeep showing you currently, but the vehicle coming from other direction collided. Though it was a mistake from the side of the department of that particular expressway, because 2 days back, due to heavy rain, a part of that expressway road was collapsed, after which the route was diverted. But the friends, neither the container driver had idea about that. And then when speed was 230 and suddenly a container truck came in, it happened a head-on collision which left the 4 friends receiving on the other end with the fatal death. The question is raising speed to 230 was right anyhow, or then when the construction work was completed at the damaged road, was this right to maintain the route diverted? That were the questions that are being raised and will be asked from the authorities. With cameraman Sandeep, Samarth Srivastava for India Today.
My colleague Samarth Srivastava is on the Purvanchal Expressway where this horrific accident happened. Samarth, one has to be very sensitive right now as we report this, because those 4 people in that car, whatever they were doing, they are no longer on this earth. They were gone in a second, driving at nearly 240 kilometers per hour, and death must have come very quickly. but it is a sad loss for their families. It was just a few minutes of bravado and recklessness on the roads that has led to this horrible tragedy for 4 families in Sasaram in Bihar. But it's a story that is also a cautionary tale for everyone else in this country thinking about driving rashly, having fun, live streaming, drinking in the car. Do we know anything apart from that video, Samarth? You know, we can see beer cans in there. Has a post-mortem been conducted? Has the police been able to say anything else about this accident?
Well, exactly, Shiv. That's a very tragic incident that took place 2 days back, and it's a cautionary tale for all of us. We drive on expressways, and sometimes we have to be in control when there is the speedometer gets high, because 100 km/h, that's the decent and ideal note for any driver to drive on expressway. And I must tell you, first I'll ask my cameraman to show you the visuals out here. This is that particular Purvanchal Expressway from where India Today TV is reporting, because this is one expressway where the incident took place, though it happened around Sultanpur district. But what is necessary, because few days back, due to heavy rain, a patch of road in this particular expressway was damaged, and then the route of one way was diverted to another. But when the road work, the construction work was, the repairing work was completed, then also the route was not went back to the normal. And that was one of the reasons, though they were riding on a high speed around about 230 km/h. But that was also one of the reasons, because it was a head-on collision, I must tell you. Truck container coming from Lucknow, they were coming from Bihar, that means Ghazipur, and then they had no idea whatsoever that when you are riding in one way, in one direction, some other vehicle will come from another, and that was one of the reasons they were riding high. Though it was not justified, it was not okay for them to ride at that speed, but if they had one simple thing in mind, that another vehicle could also come from that particular road, I don't think they would be riding at this particular high speed, Shiv.
I mean, the fact is, you know, considering how Indian highways and Indian roads are, you know, that kind of speed is unacceptable under any circumstances. You know, one is well informed. You know, these gentlemen, these late persons are, you know, from Bihar. Not exactly the place that has the best roads. They are well aware of what roads are like in UP. And, you know, they leave behind young families, Samarth. At the end of the day, this is a tragedy for the families. These men have been reckless. It is extremely sad that they are no longer on this earth. But their, you know, few minutes of negligence, not taking into account the possibility of something like this happening so easily on an Indian highway where so many accidents happen every single day, they had no business going over the speed limit.
Totally agree with you, Shiv, because when you see the speedometer, and it's not the end of the story, they also live streamed that particular video on Facebook. Like, in a way, they were trying to tell others, the friends on social media, that yes, they are taking this particular speed to 230. Because if you ride normal vehicle, then it's not possible to take the vehicle about 200 km/h. But that was BMW, so that was a possibility. And that's what was happening in the car. But it is a tragic scenario for the families, because the doctor, he was a very well-known doctor in Bihar, and that's though he loved the vehicles, he loved owning the vehicles, he had a bike, something around 16 lakhs, though he was going to Lucknow for the servicing of BMW, what we have got from sources so far. But what this incident tells us is a kind of lesson. What we have been traveling to this particular express, we are reading that you have to be like in present, you have to be like, as you just said, drunken drive, various other things. Diwali is coming. You see, the maximum rash driving happens in Diwali, Holi and festivals like Eid. So we have to be very, very crucial. We have to be very, very careful, because such incidents could be repeated anytime, anyhow. And when I'm reporting, you will see vehicles from behind me are running. I can estimate that they must be running above 100 km/h. And that's the caution where we have to think that such incidents must not be repeated. Be it this happens in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, it remains same. The loss of lives have no answer to tell.
Terrible, terrible story. And our deepest condolences to the families of these 4 men, because it is them that has to bear this terrible loss and the questions that arise from this absolutely needless, pointless accident. 4 young men simply snuffed out because of their negligence. Thanks very much, Samath, for getting us that ground report. Meanwhile, what's a bigger superstar tucker than this? You're about to hear some allegations from Baba Ramdev. These are his own words. And he's a man with millions of followers across the country. And he's leveled some very sharp charges at a time when he is launching a drug-free, alcohol-free campaign. Amidst this ongoing campaign against the Hindi film industry, Yoga Guru Baba Ramdev has targeted specifically several Bollywood stars, including Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan and others, alleging directly and openly from a stage that they are involved in drugs. Take a look at this detailed report.
Bollywood is in the line of fire once again. Baba Ramdev has accused the film industry of rampant substance abuse. Kicking up a storm, the yoga guru made a shocking allegation against Salman Khan, claiming the superstar consumes drugs.
शाह रुख खान का बच्चा ड्रग भी ले रहा था, सलमान ड्रग लेता है.
The yoga guru also rigged up drug case related to Shah Rukh Khan's son Aryan, citing how star kids are also under the influence of drugs. Ramdev then painted the entire Bollywood with the same brush.
न जाने कितने बड़े-बड़े जिनको फिल्म स्टार बोलते हैं और एक्ट्रेस का तो भगवान ही मालिक है. चारों तरफ ड्रग्स इंडस्ट्री के अंदर, फिल्म इंडस्ट्री के अंदर, बॉलीवुड के अंदर ड्रग्स.
Ever since the death of actor Sushant Singh Rajput, Bollywood has been marred by charges of drug menace. Several actors like Deepika Padukone, Arjun Rampal and Riya Chakravarti were questioned by the Narcotics Control Bureau in the drug scandal that unfolded in the recent years. Bureau Report, India Today.
And coming up, our special 1 week before Diwali ground investigation into the plight of India's firecrackers capital, Sivakasi. How are things there? How bad is the distress? What kind of impact has the ban had? And have regulations on crackers actually made things even more dangerous for India? You don't want to miss this. It's coming up next.
Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now.
What do you look for in a house? Is it the rooms, features or comfort? Well, in this video, we'll tell you about the 5 most expensive houses in India. The house is designed by Chicago-based architects. Antilia is the world's second most expensive house. The house has 27 floors, with amenities like 80-seater cinema hall, salon, ice cream parlor, and the list goes on. The house can withstand an earthquake of 8 magnitude. The Raymond Group chairman has the tallest house in India. The 30-floored house is spread over 16,000 square feet. 6 floors out of the 30 are for parking. The house has swimming pools, spas and gyms. It is divided into different flats for families to live. The name of the house means a place where someone lives. The house has 17 floors and has a helipad with a few helicopters. It is spread over 16,000 square feet. K.M. Birla of Aditya Birla Group lives here. His house has over 20 bedrooms. It is spread over 30,000 square feet. Bollywood star Shah Rukh Khan's house is one of the most luxurious houses. His house has 6 floors with multiple bedrooms, a library, boxing ring and a personal auditorium.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
One week before Diwali 2022, a story that's deadly and darkening. As India's cracker capital faces doom, are bans making crackers more deadly? Have bans forced unsafe firecracker business? Decades of boom, now only gloom. This Diwali, think of Tamil Nadu's Sivakasi. For them, this is yet another dark Diwali. Everyone knows Sivakasi. It's a word that's familiar to pretty much everyone who has celebrated Diwali because most crackers in India, if not all, are manufactured in Sivakasi district of Tamil Nadu because that is the firecracker capital of this country. For decades now, it has been the place where virtually every single firecracker that is used, burst, in different parts of the country, different parts of the world, come from this little part of Tamil Nadu. And that's the reason why it's called the firecracker capital of India. But bans, regulations, impositions, restrictions and new rules have meant that there is distress and destitution in a once throbbing district that made these firecrackers. But as our investigation and ground report will now show you, as part of this dark Diwali expose 1 week before India's biggest festival, the bans have also spawned crackers that are more dangerous and probably more counterproductive than the bans initially intended. This is a big exclusive by India Today's Akshay Nath.
The light triumphs over darkness. But the spectre of toxic pollution ironically shadows the triumph almost every year. Toxic fumes from ear-splitting crackers, vehicles and from burning crop stubble together shroud the national capital and its neighborhoods. The impending smog season has brought with it restrictions on fireworks across several states, a total ban on them in Delhi till the 1st of January. Just a 2-hour window between 8 and 10 p.m. for fireworks on Diwali in Punjab on October 24th. Haryana would only allow green crackers. Anti-pollution measures up north in the past few years have left India's fireworks industry gasping for breath down south.
Still, the court order is not clear that how do people manufacture green fireworks. Only the well-educated people know how to make green fireworks. So we have no problem making green fireworks. But there are still so many factories, they doesn't know what is green fireworks, how to make green fireworks. So, they don't know how to make, then they want to, they are reduced, the work have come down, the production have come down this year because of the labor shortage. Why the labor shortage means many people, our families are shifted to other industries. After 5 years, who will be here to work? It's a very big question.
The crisis compounded by the COVID lockdown in 2020 and by the court ban on the use of barium in crackers. Toxic by inhalation and ingestion, the oxidizing compound shoots out the brilliant greens when burst. In a tight spot is a sector that has 6.5 lakh families directly or indirectly dependent on it for their livelihood.
How do we manufacture fireworks without barium is the challenge. So whatever we are doing today, firstly the production has dropped by 40%. Secondly, the cost has shot up because of the alternative chemicals that I'm using.
Fireworks makers in Sivakasi argue that barium isn't just a coloring agent but also helps stabilize other volatile elements in crackers. Alternatives, they insist, are more expensive because of import costs and less durable.
Nowadays, many distributors and dealers are not interested to purchase because they are thinking what will happen during Diwali. Maybe ban may come or not. What will be the position of this case, Supreme Court case, and what the government will do. This government will support or not. See, the past 2 years, Delhi has been banned, Delhi market banned, Rajasthan banned, Orissa banned. So all the traders dealing are thinking why we should take risk now. If we go for during Diwali, what goods available we buy and sell. So irregular sales is not there. So since dealer is not coming, we are unable to manufacture. As a trader, distributor, I am unable to distribute. How much I can stock? I should also cannot take more risk in that. Because I am also having a price. What will happen? See, last year, the same time Orissa government has banned this one. And also Rajasthan also banned. So like this, if they banned it, what will happen?
Worries mount for the workforce as their employers struggle with the odds. Busy making a 7-shot cracker in a unit, 56-year-old Kasturi stares at a dock.
டைராசே மூடிட்டான்னு என்ன எந்த வேலைக்கு போகிறது? ஒரு வேலையும் இல்லை. இருக்கிற 1-2 இருந்தாலும் அடை வச்சு சாப்பிட்டான்னு இருக்கிற வரைக்கும் சாப்பிட இல்லாதுன்னா என்ன பண்ணுறது? ஒரு நேரம் குடிச்சு குடியாமல் பிள்ளைகளை பட்டினி போட்டுக்கிட்டு தான் இருக்கோம்.
37-year-old Vijay Lakshmi has been part of Sivakasi's labour force since she left school. She has no other option but to work in this hazardous industry along with her husband. An industry plagued by fatal fire accidents for decades.
मेरे घर वाले इस फैक्ट्री में दूसरे फैक्ट्री पे काम करते हैं, पर सुबह घर से बाहर निकलते हैं, फैक्ट्री के अंदर आते हैं, उसके बाद जो घर आएंगे उसी के बाद हमें जो है हमारे पति घर आ गए, हम घर आ गए, हमारे बच्चे को माँ बाप हैं, पर सुबह हम यहाँ आते हैं तो हम बाहर जाते हैं तभी हमें विश्वास होता है कि भी हम जिंदा हैं करके। हम सोचते हैं इसमें ये काम थोड़ा अच्छा चलेगा तो हम अपने बच्चे को पालेंगे, अच्छा स्कूल में पढ़ाएंगे, लिखाएंगे, तो हमारे बच्चे भी यहाँ आके नहीं परेशान नहीं हो सकते हैं ना, पर ये काम नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है हमारे लिए।
According to industry estimates, more than 1.5 lakh people have lost their job as the sector suffered setbacks from pollution restrictions, lower demands and soaring input costs.
All are afraid. So no new workers is coming into our industry. But workers who engaged here, we are unable to give them work. What they are thinking, today this section work was stopped. Tomorrow our section work may be also stopped. They are thinking and they are migrating to other industry. From Sivakasi, Virunagar, they are going to Tirupur, Coimbatore. There only good work is going there. The textile industry. You know, for the past, in these 2-3 years, textile industry is going up. It is booming like something. So everybody is migrating to other industry. So our industry is mostly affected.
Local manufacturers say production halved last year. A sector that once boasted of a turnover of 6,000 crores came down to 3,000 crore rupees.
In the last 8 years, due to the ban on crackers in several states and also the ban on barium nitrate, we're seeing that several people are reeling in uncertainty, and the last few years have been a very gloomy Diwali for the labourers here. Now, the big question that these common men are been asking is that Sivakasi does not have any other industry into which they can work, and at the same time, what will be their future like if the cracker industry is going to be seeing an end. Now, their only demand to the government and the Supreme Court is to bring about a conclusion to the issue on crackers and show light into their future so that they can have a peaceful and happy Diwali. With camera person Daniel from Sivakasi, Zaksha Nath for India Today.
Now, local firecracker units in Sivakasi, which is part of Virudhunagar district of Tamil Nadu, that accounts for 90% of the firecracker business in the country, are deeply anxious as their business has dipped even further this season to critically low levels. Green crackers have replaced the traditional crackers, further denting their means of livelihood for families of Sivakasi. This is our inside story about the distress of 6.5 lakh families. It isn't something to just simply move on from. These are people whose families, whose fathers, mothers have all made crackers that you and I have probably used in the past on our Diwali celebrations. Watch this report.
A 100-year-old industry. An industry that boasted of a 6,000 crore turnover till some years ago. An industry that accounts for 90% of India's overall fireworks production. But once inside Sivakasi small units, it's a journey back in time. Crackers, fireworks strewn around in dingy rooms. Workers sit on the floor, men and women. Many smeared with combustible powder, no masks, no gloves, and in some factories, fire safety is also an issue.
பயம் எல்லாமே இருக்கு. இதை விட்டுட்டா வேற பொழப்பு இல்லை. வேற தொழில் இதுக்கப்புறம் வேற தொழில் நம்ம செஞ்சு பிழைக்கிறதுக்கான வாய்ப்புகள் இல்லை. இதிலே இறங்கியாச்சு. இதுதான் நமக்கு கடைசி வரைக்கும் தான். இது இல்லைன்னா ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்படுவோம்.
For workers like this man, it's all about survival and surviving the hazards each day for a meager 450 rupees. Sivakasi may be the biggest job creator at the local level, but that's how its workers painstakingly produce celebratory material for Diwali, many risking their own lives, health and that of others. Sivakasi's grim record of deadly accidents notwithstanding, fireworks manufacturers insist they comply with existing government rules, such as placing sandbags, spacing their units per prescribed guidelines. Inspections are also routine, but pictures from inside some of the factories tell a different story.
Factories are governed on the principle of adhering to man limit, chemical limit and the inter-safety distance limit. You got to look at the factory. See, if you contravene any of these, it's not a safe procedure. You're going against the SOP of the industry. 1,500 factories, you have a rogue unit, he makes a big blunder, an accident happens. Is he to be blamed or is the industry to be blamed? A rash driver causes an accident. Do you blame the automobile industry or do you blame the driver?
Let's take a look at how the same job is done in some other countries. That's how China, the world's largest producer of fireworks, executes it. A fireworks factory in the United States and the one in Germany. Prone to accidents and laden with dangerously polluting agents, the antiquated techniques of fireworks production in Sivakasi have raised serious concerns. Scientists say manufacturers need to upgrade their scientific know-how about environmentally friendly processes. Experts reject their arguments that fireworks have to have highly toxic chemicals, now banned by the Supreme Court.
The onus lies with the manufacturers as to how long they want the shelf life of the firecrackers to be. In the sense, if they are using the correct SOP and the correct additive in the correct way, the firecracker, the shelf life and the stability of the firecracker will be definitely very high. SOP which has been given to them, measures have been indicated how they are supposed to be using those additives. It needs to be properly functionalized so that it does not take the moisture. Then they have to store it properly, not expose it so that the moisture does not get absorbed on it. If these kind of precautions are taken care of before it is put into use while making the formulations, I'm sure the shelf life and stability of the green firecrackers will be at par with the conventional firecrackers.
The intricate business of mixing chemicals and explosives, modernization and enforcement of best practices collectively by all stakeholders can save Sivakasi from a complete blowout and not rhetoric. Akshaya Nath in Sivakasi for India Today.
And just take a look at what cracker bans and rules look like in different parts of the country right now, which has resulted in this. In Delhi, the sale and use of firecrackers is completely banned until January 2023 because they say this is responsible for the many pollution issues, even though crackers only contributed to a fraction of the cause. In Punjab, the use and sale is banned, but green crackers are permitted. There is a 2-hour window from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. to burst crackers on Diwali. In neighboring Haryana, the use and sale of all firecrackers is completely prohibited. Only green crackers are allowed for use. Meanwhile, in West Bengal, only green crackers are allowed during Durga Puja. Calcutta High Court has ruled prohibiting any other types of crackers. In Tamil Nadu, where Sivakasi is, there is no blanket ban. Crackers can be burst twice a day at stipulated times of 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. and then 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on the Diwali day is when it's allowed. Which leads us to the big questions right now. Have bans, and this is in the wake of the investigation that you've just seen, have bans made firecrackers even more dangerous? The regulation of barium nitrate, has it actually made the firecrackers flooding the market even more volatile and deadly to the users? Is barium nitrate ban spawning more unstable crackers, completely negating the entire point of banning such chemicals? Are green crackers worse for the environment? Does Sivakasi face a final fight for survival? And is Sivakasi's loss leading to China's gain? Because remember, China continues to flood India with its own crackers and is grabbing market share in the rest of the world where Sivakasi could be a supplier. Joining me now for an exclusive. Joining me live now from Sivakasi is Manikam Tagore. He's the Congress Member of Parliament from Sivakasi. Mr. Tagore, thank you very much for being with me. We've just finished playing out for our viewers a two-part ground report in Sivakasi. This is something we do traditionally every year just before Deepavali. We've played this out 1 week before. Lots of reactions have already come in. Your reaction to India Today's ground report, sir?
Thank you, Shiv, and thank you for India Today for continuing to report the ground reports from Sivakasi, which is a voiceless area. Coming to the question for you, the Sivakasi is the place where India's 95% of India's fireworks industry, fireworks supply is made through Sivakasi only.
Yes.
Sivakasi's fireworks industry is 100-year-old industry. And this industry has challenges in the past 100 years. But for the past 8 years, the challenges have become double in itself. The reason is because of the central government's attitude towards Sivakasi and the way the central government is dealing with it. One department do one extremely different thing. The other department does the extremely opposite thing. Because of that, Sivakasi has become a sandwich between the two power struggle of two departments, and Sivakasi's poor people are suffering because of that. And the reason for this is the government's attitude towards central government's attitude towards Sivakasi. Every year we are trying to impress upon the ministers who are holding the positions like industrial promotion as well as the environmental ministries. But they take completely opposite stands in the courts and outside the courts. But the BJP party as a political party speaks a different language. For it is very difficult for us now that without the central government's intervention or the support, Sivakasi is going to bleed further.
No, there is a great deal of anger at governments across the board, including the central government, over inconsistent rules that has led to this kind of distress situation for Sivakasi, sir. For instance, Mr. Tagore, the ban on barium nitrate. We found from many of the people that our reporter Akshay Nath spoke to in Sivakasi that this is potentially making the crackers that they make even more dangerous, not just to the users, but also to the environment, which is completely counter to what the whole intention of banning such chemicals is, sir.
Exactly. The main issue is about the barium nitrate.
Yeah.
Barium nitrate, there are two departments involved in it. One is the Environment Minister, one is the PESO, which is reporting to the Industrial Promotion Ministry, Industries Ministry. Both of them have a different. Those people who are in PESO are not knows it well that without barium nitrate you can't have a fireworks itself. Fireworks is one of those. Barium nitrate is one of the main components of the barium nitrate for the fireworks itself. It may be a Chinese firework also, which is dominating the world market. Chinese dominate. 95% of the world market is controlled by the Chinese, and they use barium nitrate as a component. Here in India, through the Supreme Court orders, because of the government of India's double standards, particularly two ministries taking different steps, or the Environment Ministry under NEERI is taking a different step, and the Union Minister, Industrial Promotion, is taking a different step, and they are working against each other, and they are not able to understand the real effect of the industry itself. Without barium nitrate, you can't have a firecracker itself. Therefore, fireworks itself. Therefore, the problem is that the government of India has to get into it and leave to the scientists to decide about it, which is must and which can't. Without it, you can't have a firecrackers itself. These kind of steps has affected Sivakasi in a very big way, and it is losing its Supreme Court. The government takes the shelter of Supreme Court orders. Supreme Court has when the two parties of the government, one is the Environment Ministry under the Industrial Promotion, takes different stand, and Supreme Court goes with one stand of it. Who is responsible for it? The question is that green crackers has been suggested by NEERI, and Sivakasi has produced green crackers.
Yes.
Now, green crackers were banned in the previous time. Even green crackers were banned in Delhi. Delhi today, as of now, where you are sitting, Shiv, you will see that Delhi's pollution is poor. The air quality is poor.
Yeah.
It is not because of firecrackers. Diwali has not come. But there are plenty of other reasons for Delhi's poor
like
air
rock burning,
quality.
etc. Yeah,
but the blame will be on Sivakasi. The blame will be on fireworks. The blame will be on Sivakasi's poor people who are working there. Therefore, it is completely, the government has to come to the rescue, and it has to open its eyes, stop playing politics on the lives of the people of Sivakasi.
What I can tell you for sure is that India Today will continue to report this. Manikam Tagore, thank you very much for being with India Today, taking our questions. This is something that we care about very deeply, and we will continue to report from Sivakasi and the other parts of Virudhunagar where these firecrackers are made. It's not called India's firecracker capital for no reason at all. And it is something that our viewers care about very deeply, and we will continue to bring you the real story of Sivakasi's distress. That's a wrap on 5 Live. Thanks for watching. Coming up next is Akshita, who continues our big focus on India's most ruined city. The pothole menace continues to take lives in Bengaluru. A woman is near death in this city once again thanks to a pothole. That distressing story comes up next.
Can you imagine your life without Swiggy, Dunzo, Zomato, Zepto? Well, let's just nod in agreement that life would not be the same without these apps. But can we look at them with a finer lens? After the pandemic, reliance on these apps increased, and so did the demand and supply for gig work across India, according to Taskmo Gig Index. Gig work consists of income-earning activities outside of traditional long-term employer-employee relationships. So essentially, these gig workers are those who are delivering the items you order through these apps. But there are problems this workforce is facing. Problems around social security rights and working rights. These problems are also the primary cause of distress among the emerging form of employees. So let's explain what a gig economy is. Gig economy is a free market where organizations like Ola, Uber, Zomato and Swiggy hire or contract workers for a short span of time. Basically, these are temporary positions to meet the company's immediate requirements. Gig workers are those who are part of this economy. They work independently on call or on a temporary basis. India is the 5th largest gig economy according to an India Staffing Federation report. In India, over 15 million workers are employed as gig workers across the industries. And digital platforms played an important role in helping job seekers find these gig work. Gig workers suffer from the lack of social security, sanitary working conditions, and working rights. So this sector is highly unregulated, which, like any unregulated sector, results in nominal benefits and reduced security. You can call this a shinier extension of India's unorganized labor economy. According to India's Code on Wages 2019, a universal minimum wage and floor wage should be provided to all organized and unorganized sectors. That includes gig workers. Likewise, the Code on Social Security 2020 recognizes gig workers as a new category. That also makes them eligible for benefits like maternity benefits, life and disability cover, old age protection, provident fund, and employment injury benefits. However, the eligibility does not guarantee that they will get these benefits.
Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now.
the rising petrol prices and inflation scare you? How much do you earn in a month? Well, the World Inequality Report will knock your socks out. And why? Because it says India stands out as a poor and unequal country with an affluent elite population. 15% of Indians earn less than Rs 5,000 every month, while 22% of the national income goes to the 1% rich community. The report flags a drop in global income during 2020, with about half the dip in rich countries and half in low income and emerging countries. Are we living in the prime of inequality? In 2019 and 20, among different employment categories, the highest percentage was of self-employed workers, which was 45.78%, followed by regular salaried workers 33.5% and casual workers 20.71%. Self-employed workers also belong to the lowest income categories. The report pegged the country's unemployment rate at 4.8% for 2019 and 20, and the worker population ratio at 46.8%. Let's not forget that this was the same time when the pandemic had hit the world. Clearly, the daily wage earners had no source of income during the lockdown period. Now, to address the wealthy population. In India, the wealthiest households are in urban areas, with as much as 74% of the urban population in the two highest wealth quintiles, as opposed to more than half of the rural population, which is 54%, which falls in the two lowest wealth quintiles. Chandigarh has the largest population of wealthy people. 79% of the population in Chandigarh falls in the highest wealth quintiles, followed by Delhi, 68%, and then Punjab, 61%.
On brink of total power, a historic third term. Is she now unchallengeable?
Under which?
What will the world be according to she? The man who dragged Xi Jinping's rise. Xi Jinping's biographer. And the most formidable voice on China. Kerry Brown exclusive. Co-presented by PolicyBazaar.com. Co-powered by only OLX Autos gives the best price for your car. In association with LIC, हर पल आपके साथ. LG OLED, the one and only. Smart Bazaar, India's new Bachat Bazaar.
Are potholes death holes in Bengaluru? Woman left fighting for her life. Fell from her bike, mowed down by bus.
The person who met with an accident this morning tried to avoid this pothole. That's when she put a sudden brake.
When will civic body be pulled up?
The bus we have taken into the custody and also the concerned driver also.
No accountability, no onus on BBMP. Bengalurians, speak up now. Pothole-free city, sham exposed.
Good evening. You're joining us live here on 6 p.m. Prime. I'm Akshata Anantagopal, and this evening we're going to be talking about the sad state of affairs in the city of Bengaluru. 2 days ago, we got you a special broadcast, an India Today magazine special, where we spoke about how India's best city has been ruined. Almost as a vindication of that, today you've had an incident where a woman on a bike fell down because of this massive literal crater on the road. She's left fighting for her life. I want to remind our viewers that the Bengaluru civic body's budget is somewhere near 10,000 crore rupees. Where's that money going? It most definitely isn't going into the welfare of the Bengalurians. So we're going to be asking those questions of the BBMP, the Bengaluru civic body, this evening. First, as always, the headlines. After mega show of strength on the streets of Delhi, Deputy Chief Minister Manisha Sisodia appears before CBI in Liquorgate case. India Today accesses CBI questionnaire. Sisodia grilled on links to accused businessmen and profit cuts.
अब ये मुझे जेल भेजने के लिए तैयारी कर रहे हैं, तो मैं जेल जाने के लिए भी तैयार हूं. मुझे डर नहीं है, बल्कि मुझे गर्व है इस बात पे कि देश के लिए कुछ कर दिखाने का मौका है.
D-Day in the Congress presidential poll saga as voting concludes to decide if Kharge or Tharoor will lead party. Sonia Gandhi casts her vote in Delhi, tells India Today this is a historic moment for Congress.
Ma'am, are you happy?
I've been waiting for a long time for this case.
Ma'am, are you happy?
I've been waiting for a long time for this case.
Days after Saurav Ganguly was ousted as BCCI chief, Mamta Banerjee alleges bias towards Dada while also requesting Prime Minister Modi to send the former Indian captain to ICC as compensation. Prime Minister Modi inaugurates two-day event. PM Kisan Samman Sammelan 2022 releases 16,000 crore rupees as 12th installment through direct benefit transfer under the Pradhan Mantri Kisan scheme. Baba Ramdev launches alcohol and drug-free campaign, claims Bollywood is drowning in drugs, says Shah Rukh Khan's son was jailed after found with drugs and Salman Khan consumes drugs.
शाहरुख खान का बच्चा ड्रग भी ले रहा था, सलमान ड्रग लेता है, आमिर का पता नहीं, न जाने कितने बड़े बड़े जिनको फिल्म स्टार बोलते हैं, और एक्ट्रेस का तो भगवान ही मालिक है, चारों तरफ ड्रग्स.
And Ukraine claims kamikaze drones hit Kyiv today. It's the second attack on the capital city in a matter of 1 week. The beautiful city of Bengaluru, ruined by civic apathy, is known as India's very own Silicon City. It's known as the city of lakes. It's also, unfortunately, referred to as the city of potholes because the roads are so bad. It not just inconveniences the common man, it not just leads to endless traffic snarls, but also, more often than not, claims lives. One woman this time, a 50-year-old, was riding pillion with, in fact, her friend on this bike, hit a pothole, fell down, bus mowed her down. She's now fighting for her life. And there will be questions about who's answerable to her, who's accountable. The BBMP right now says the matter is under investigation, that we don't know if it was because of the pothole. The KSRTC, which is the transport body, because the bus mowed down this woman, has been booked in this particular case. And zero accountability as expected from the Bengaluru civic authorities.
The city of Bengaluru, from the city of lakes, it's now garnered the unenviable reputation as the city of potholes, and Bengalurians continue to pay the price for the pathetic condition of roads in the city. Two women were traveling on a bike in the heart of the city this week when the rider lost balance because of this stretch being filled with potholes. While the rider escaped with minor injuries, the woman on the pillion, a 50-year-old, is fighting for her life after a bus mowed her down when she fell down on the road.
You can see the depth of these kind of potholes. The depth is very hard, and you can see here it goes up to 3 to 4 inches of depth, and the water is being filled, and the riders, whoever is coming, and crossing this particular pothole are finding no solution.
वो बस वाला साइड में जा रहा था, ये दो लड़की लोग आ रहा था, खड़ा या ना ऐसा गड़ा था, वो गड़े में आके ऐसा पड़ा, ऐसा वो बस के उधर गिर गया, एक लड़की उसके ऊपर चढ़ गया बस.
These craters on the road are to blame, but unsurprisingly, officials are in complete denial, washing their hands off this latest incident. Instead, a case has been registered against Transport Authority, KSRTC, and zero accountability from the Brihat Bengaluru Mahanagarpalike, the municipal corporation.
The road condition is not very good also, so there could be multiple factors. We'll investigate in all the angles and take up investigation how it proceeds. As per the content of the complaint, of course KSRTC, it would be against KSRTC, but again the local authorities and all, based on the content of the complaint, we will take it up.
The BBMP meanwhile maintains an investigation is underway and refused to take cognizance of the terrible condition of roads in the city.
ನಾವು ಅವರು ಯಾವ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಹೇಗೆ ಬಿದ್ದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹೇಗೆ ಈ ಘಟನೆ ಆಯಿತು ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದು ನಿಜ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತನಿಖೆಯಿಂದನೇ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅದು ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಮಾಡಿ ಅವರು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅದು ನೋಡೋಣ.
This is the reality of the death holes in Bengaluru every year. Lives are lost even as authorities make empty promises of the city being made a pothole-free city.
The question is when the civic authorities are going to learn from their previous mistakes and how many more lives will be lost due to this pothole. With your journalist Madhu Sagairaj reporting for India Today, Bengaluru.
And it takes India Today's intervention in every single case for action for authorities to wake up in Bengaluru. After we reported from that spot, told you about this woman who is critical, the pothole has now been covered up rather promptly. The authorities didn't bother to do this for months together. Now, after India Today reported on this particular incident, and there are serious questions about BBMP negligence, authorities swiftly got to the spot, and you can see how they've immediately covered up those series of potholes in that location. Nagarjun Dwarkanath is joining us live from that spot where this accident took place, where these potholes, these giant craters were there early this morning. It's now been covered up. Nagarjun, good evening. This is what it takes for authorities in Bengaluru to wake up.
Good evening, Akshita. This is not the first time that the authorities have woken up post the accident. We have seen it time and again. At least myself in the last 1 year have reported at least 6 to 10 pothole incidents and accidents in the city of Bengaluru. Let me show you the shoddy job done here in Bengaluru city. These were the series of potholes that was there in the morning. Now in the evening it's been clearly filled up immediately. But just 5 feet behind the pothole that has been filled up, look, another pothole exists. That means the pothole that the woman just fell, only that has been filled up. The other pothole has just been left empty. And let me show you, not just this, the whole road is full of potholes here, and the commuters are finding it very hard day and again to travel through the same route. Remember, it was a tragic accident. The woman fell off because of the pothole, and the bus ran over her, and the woman is completely critical at this point of time. So civic apathy is clearly seen in Bengaluru, and people of Bengaluru are asking, when do we get pothole-free roads right now? While the government says it's been raining, the money has been released, we are waiting for the rains to recede so that every road, every pothole in Bengaluru city will be closed. 6,000 crores is what it has been released. We are just waiting for the rain gods to stop pouring so that work can be taken up on road is what the government is saying. But we have to wait and watch how true or how far they'll maintain their words.
Ridiculous that, you see only one small patch that's been covered up. The rest of the potholes left as they are, waiting for more accidents to happen, for the authorities to come down there again and cover it up in a matter of hours. Thanks, Nagarjun, for getting us the ground report. Nagarjun pointing out also the kind of money that the BBMP has right now, supposedly to deal with this kind of a problem, to ensure that there's better infrastructure, better roads, no potholes. none of that clearly being addressed. Look at this particular example. The pothole in which the woman fell down, that's been covered. The rest of the potholes on the road left as they are. I'd like to open this up because there are serious questions being asked of the authorities, of also the BBMP right now. Anand Gurumurthy, spokesperson of the BJP, is joining us this evening. We also have Aishwarya Mahadeva, spokesperson of the Congress. Good evening to both of you. Mr. Anand Gurumurthy, I'd like to begin with you. This is what it takes for some action to happen on the ground. A 50-year-old woman left fighting for her life, the media channels having to cover it, and then one small patch of the pothole will be covered.
See, first of all, my party's and my government's sympathies towards the citizen who has suffered. Okay, and I really want the India Today team to bring this in open and show the pathetic situation that the road was in, and Nagarjun Bharatna to do the study of the place and showing the work that has happened there. Now, the incident has happened, but before this, there's a lot of things that has been done in this city in the last 2 years, and
like what?
Despite, I don't want to go behind that because I don't want to even talk about the previous.
No, we should, Mr. Anand Gurumurthy. Let's get into the details because you're saying lots has been done, etc. What's been done by the BBMP currently? Because many promises have been made saying pothole-free city by this time, etc.
See, basically, what is happening is the incessant rains. Okay, the last 2 rains have been very, very harsh on Bengaluru, and because of which the bitumen that has been laid is coming out in many places. Okay, it's not just because of clogging or something. It is because of very heavy rains. Okay, even in fact we have referred this matter to the Indian Road Congress and to give us better some kind of solutions for certain parts of the roads where it is just coming out. As and when it is being filled, BBMP is doing its job, but then it's not standing.
Mr. Anand Gurumurthy, I may take you seriously, but look at this, what's happened in this particular case. The road is full of potholes. One small stretch has been covered, the rest left as it is. And you're telling me the BBMP is taking this seriously?
They will cover the rest of the stretch also. It's not that, one was covered and others was left. Yes, the work is in progress and they are doing it. See, if you see the expansion of Bangalore in the last 15 years, I've been in the city, okay, and I see that it's expanding at a very fast rate. Roads are being laid into nook and corners. So many, almost more than, I think, 100 were added to this city, okay, and more than 11,000 kilometers have been added within the city. So there's a lot of work that is being done in terms of putting up new roads and other things. But I'll tell you, the rains have been so heavy last year and this year that the condition and the maintenance has
I'll let the Congress respond to this. I'll let the Congress respond. Aishwarya Mahadeva, good evening. What do you make of what the BJP is saying? They're saying that, look, we're doing everything we can, but there's been unprecedented incessant rainfall in Bengaluru.
Good evening, Akshita. I think it's obviously hard to defend the indefensible, and let's talk about things before the rain. I think when Mr. Bommai took over, the court had already warned the BJP government saying that you and the authority, because obviously BBMP elections had not happened, have to take adequate action to figure out the infrastructure and also the potholes. I think till date, the court has hauled up the government over 6 times about their lack of filling up the potholes, and that is something that is extremely problematic. You can talk about the rains, and it's not like the Met Department had not warned the government about the fact that you're going to see inclement weather. We saw the subsequent destruction as a result of lack of planning, but the result today is that people are dying and it's becoming a mere statistic. We saw a young girl and her father dying because of transformer. You saw a bus ramming into a metro pole to avoid a pothole. You've seen several people dying, going into stormwater drains. You can see massive, damage to life and everything else in this situation, and the government keeps talking about this was unpredictable weather, this is something we could not have worked out. But I think that is absolutely the most shameful excuse that you can give. If you are a responsible government, it is for you to take action. For example, there were 11,000 odd potholes that were identified before these rains. And after the first rain, you saw that more than 9,000 potholes reappeared. And that shows you that it's not only about the rains, it is also the quality of work. And I will agree when Mr. Anand talks about the idea of the quality of bitumen, but this is unprecedented.
No, so I want to understand, Mr. Anand Gurumurthy, are you saying that before this spell of heavy rains, which I agree, it's been very, very heavy rains in Bengaluru, before this spell of heavy rains, all potholes in the city were covered? There were no potholes at all in Bengaluru?
As per the statistics given to the government by the BBMP, most were covered, okay, and are taken care of. But now when they're seeing these rains from the last 2 weeks, they're telling we'll go back to the statistics and we'll figure it out what is happening. So
because every few months there are pothole deaths, there are pothole injuries like this that are reported.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that statement.
Every few months, sir, in Bengaluru, you get some news like this of Bengalurians paying the price sometimes with their life because of potholes.
No, see, it's a large city and the population is high, the traffic density is high. They're doing their job. We cannot, completely complain about the shoddy job or something like that, okay? But they are doing their job. And the opposition also understands this. They were in the ruling party, okay? Just a couple of years, they were also ruling party. Aishwarya speaks as if there were no accidents when Congress was ruling and there are accidents when BJP is ruling. That's quite wrong in democracy. We have to understand this is a continuous process, okay? And we have to focus on this from the point of view how in long term we can solve this, okay? We are trying to solve it scientifically, and we are getting some input from Indian Road Congress so that, some patches of the road, especially, where there are valleys, where water clogging happens or where the drainage system is good enough, but when the rainfall is very heavy, there's a little bit of clogging. They are coming up with some solutions wherein they'll have cobblestones.
This sounds great. It sounds great. I hope it happens on the ground, but the reality is this has been talked for quite some time and nothing's changed. Nothing's changed in Bengaluru. All this sounds very promising, but then we take everything with a big bag of salt because nothing's changed in the city. I'll come back to you, Mr. Gurumurthy. I want to bring in Aishwarya also on this.
Just a moment. Give me a moment. See, it's a very wrong statement to say and as well very strong to say that nothing has happened on the road. Things are happening, but in certain spaces, okay, you cannot just change the entire city within a day or a night.
No, it's not. It's not. One second. No, Mr. Gurumurthy, it's not about changing the city. I've lived in Bengaluru. I know the kind of traffic mess that's there, but the problem is that there's poor infrastructure also to add to it. And that is simply negligence and corruption that is to blame for that. The fact that everyone looks away. Aishwarya Madhav, I'll also bring you in on this because it's not one government that's guilty. This has been the problems by successive governments, by successive administrations that have done nothing at all to address this.
Akshita, first and foremost, the BJP will say we haven't had enough time. We've recently taken over. It was the Congress before and whatnot. But if they're a party with a difference, they obviously should have pumped in more for infrastructure, should have also planned and should have had preparedness and emergency response. And that is something that is not forthcoming. And Akshita, you have been in Bangalore. You have lived here. I have lived here for a predominant period of time. And I can tell you that I've never seen the infrastructure to such a level. And that is also because there's a massive nexus between the people doing the public work for you and also corruption and the percentage that goes to the government. You cannot take away from the fact that you see the quality dropping to such a phenomenal level that flyovers that are inaugurated are shut down within a week. The roads opposite the Vidhan Sauda, the Shakti Sthal of my state, are massively pothole ridden. You see Sankey Tank having a 6-foot crater after weeks after it was just retarred. And it cannot just be a problem of the bitumen. It has to obviously be a serious issue of quality and nobody checking it because